hear you or see
Black
you.
unicorn.
What is a black unicorn?
Black unicorn. Black unicorn.
Black unicorn.
Black unicorn.
Black unicorn.
Yeah. Yes, I knew you was gonna come. I knew you was coming with the fashions already. That's all.
This whole thing? Oh, please.
No, whatever, please. I was like, let me get kind of cute because
Don't even try
this
it.
nigga's about to come through with the gang, and you came right on.
No. I already knew who I'm talking to. I was like, all right, let me go ahead.
Nah, you see, I'm low key. Nah, I ain't gotta like. I'm not there yet. She giving,
No,
but
it's a full set. Come on now.
what up? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit late. I was actually trying to host this meeting and it went to another one. I had to figure out why I went to that one.
I ain't worried about it. It's all good.
Good morning, Jamal.
I like this little space you got in the back there.
Tokyo living. I'm living in Tokyo. Yeah. So this is my spot. It's Tokyo. It's fun, but it's also a little bit challenging with the language, barrier and whatnot. But honestly, they've been very supportive. I haven't had any problems, even down to this space that I have, which is like a studio living space.
Right.
They giving it up.
I love it.
She's here and she's setting up and she's living her dreams.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I've been to Japan several times, but it's always been through work. So I've never really had the opportunity to not. To just enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it always feels like a blur whenever I'm there.
Cause your ass be staying busy. You gotta. Well, I'm actually enjoying seeing you take breaks.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice.
I've been seeing you take your time and really enjoy that money you making. You
have to take, because if you don't, you'll turn around and be like, what did I do? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I need to take in one that I'm talking to you. I'm sorry. I was so excited to talk to you today, and this has been such a blessing for me to be able to do this from Japan and talk to my friends. And this is all about inspiring people. And you've inspired me for so long.
Oh.
And I don't know how many little nigglets you got running around here in giglets. You done got running around this world that you've inspired, but Jamal, thank you for real for coming. You are truly a black unicorn. You embody what a black unicorn is.
I love that. I will take it and I will embrace that, because when I think about a unicorn, I think of probably the most beautiful creature that I've ever seen. With a horse with wings, and it's beautiful. So thank you for that. And I am so excited to talk to you as well, because
this behind me, by the way, and I don't want to hear nobody shit talking, because I know people, you know how they are. This is an alicorn. Because I just want to make it clear, because some people be like, that's the alicorn. They know. So the difference between a unicorn and alicorn, which I learned recently, was the unicorn has the wings and the horn.
Yes.
So that's the alicorn.
Oh.
Because of the horn and the wings, it's the alicorn. But this is still a black unicorn platform. But you just gotta check.
Okay, what's a unicorn? Is a unicorn?
The unicorn is just with the horn, no wings.
Oh, no wings. Okay.
So it was some
that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I learned that from people just checking it out and be like, that's the alicorn. I'm like, cool. So I'm just letting you know. So if you're ever in an environment,
Well, no, I just learned something new today. No, but this is amazing. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah. So, welcome to Black Unicorns. The platform is about inspiring people that are like you, and and giving a little visibility to amazing people like yourself. And we always start off. Obviously, you guys know Jamal, and if you don't, you're about to know who Jamal is. But I always like for you to just, it's Jamaal Sims, everybody. But how do you identify? I just want to jump in, so we can get this out there. How do you identify, and what are your pronouns before we
I identify, as far as I identify as a Black gay man, and my pronouns are he, him.
Okay, just what, E?
Yeah. He, him, his. Is that right?
He, him, his. Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
There's a school of people that
No.
We gotta hit them all with that.
I'm the older generation, so I'm still learning. I'm still trying to catch up with everything. But I think that's right. Yeah.
And that's why you're a unicorn. You know, for us, it's kind of hard sometimes when just the language itself, not even trying to be rude, just the language, the grammatical language is hard for us to say sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even with the LGBTQIA plus, you know, I mean, those are the things that you never want to disrespect our community or,
exactly.
You know, and so you want to make sure you get it right. But there is a lot to learn. And so we have to kind of be easy on people if we make a mistake or if we don't,
right.
You know, if we're not 100% correct on those things, you know, we have to grant ourselves the
a little pad, just a little grace pad. Just that's all right. We ain't trying to, you know, we ain't trying to be rude, y'all.
Yeah, no.
You know,
everybody's learning.
And we had that moment in our generation as well. We had to be like, you know, this is what we want to do. You know, we want to be more visible. We want to have, you know, our relationships be more visible and whatnot. And when they went down for that shit, so we had to, you know, we know what the adjustment period is about.
Absolutely.
What I mean, I know you do a lot of amazing shit, but like for Black Unicorns, what is it that you want to say you do? Because I see you as something completely different than what I grew up knowing you as, and I don't even know how, as far as like work or like what creatively, what are you now? What are you doing now?
Well, you know, I you know, my journey was I've always loved to entertain. So I, you know, like as a kid, I loved to perform, and then that turned into singing for a while, and then it went to dancing was probably my more natural thing to do. So dancing and entertaining, and then from there I went into creating choreography and choreographing film, TV for the past 20 something years, and now, you know, directing is what I'm really passionate about. So yeah, it's just kind of like evolved and transitioned, and so that's kind of where I'm at now, just creating, actually producing.
So I've seen you directing, and I've been like, big ups to that, by the way, Jamal. That's what you do. I mean, you know, you're a creator. So what, before we jump into everything, what you're an artist, first of all. You've done all these different things. You know, what motivated you to do these things? How did you get to the place you are now? Like, you've had all these stages from dancing to this to this. What was the motivation behind that?
You know, I just fell in love with the arts, you know, and whether it be painting or I just love the idea that you could take a blank canvas and create something and put something in there. You could take a song and put movement to a song. You could take an image, and you know, so I think for me it's just creating something from nothing, and how you can close your eyes and create whatever's in your head. You could bring that to fruition, to life, you know. So that's what got me here, is that, you know, I remember seeing The Wiz when I was 8 or 9, and I remember looking at the screen, and there was so much going on. There was the costume, there was makeup, there was hair, there was and it just felt like I was being held. Like, oh, what is this? You know. So I really do feel like, you know, with all those things, I love every last bit of it. I love the hair. I love the makeup. I love the, you know, and so putting all that together and creating something that people can enjoy.
1 second, let me change the battery. 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Edit that out. Anyway, you was seeing The Wiz and how it inspired you, and how it's brought to life and whatnot.
Absolutely. That was the thing that I could remember, where I was like, I want to do that. And whatever that was, I wasn't sure if it was singing or if it was the dance or if it was the music or whatever it was, that was, I mean, it gave me my life, really. And continues. I have a tattoo of the Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man on my arm, because the message of the movie is always something that has resonated with me as well. It's like, if we know ourselves, we're always home. So no matter where we go, we can be home if we are truly embracing of ourselves and who we are, you know, and then all the people that we meet through the journey, how they can give us something, how they can give us a heart, how they can show us how to have brains or have knowledge or, you know, or wisdom, and then how we can meet somebody and they can show us how to have courage, you know. So all those things, those messages that are in there are really important, and they stay with me today.
Wow, that's so crazy. One, I just watched The Wiz the other day, and you know, my scene is the color is, you know, the color is green. That's my scene, babe. I'll be hitting that in my head. I can do that choreography, but you know,
it's probably the thing when I do a project. I'll go and I'll definitely watch that scene.
Yeah.
There's a couple scenes in there. Brand New Day.
Yes.
So yeah. I mean, they were dancing.
Brand New Day.
You know?
And Michael Jackson, he was listen. He was blackety black. He was giving you the fever. He was giving it to you.
That's what you call raw. You know,
it was so raw and so beautiful, that work.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally watched it about 2 weeks ago. I was like floored at how we were able to overcome in that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, absolutely. I mean, for y'all who don't know who The Wiz is, because there's some people who won't know what this film is. Just check it out. It's the black version of The Wizard of Oz. And for any artist that is out there, you need to just watch it just for historical purposes. You just need to know about it.
Let me tell you something. It will change your life. You know, it's one thing to it's Wizard of Oz reimagined, and then I think that you know alone is like something really creative. You know, the how they took it to New York City and they made New York City Oz. It's so beautiful. Yeah. So
there's a thread I'm starting to see in the Black Unicorns that I bring here, and I think it's imagination. There's something about how you know, that you've like tapped into this like this zone, and it kind of gets you early in life or whatever. Like, so that actually leads to my next question. Like, how long did it take you to get to where you are now? Like, I haven't been in your process for a long time, but I do know I've seen your process before, and I know you're on it. And it looks simple from like the surface. Like when we see you working with Will or somebody like that, it looks like you just hitting it, you know, like it's like super, you know, boom. But how long did it take you to get to that point where you make it look that simple?
You know, it does. I mean, I guess I don't know if I'm answering the question right, because I feel like I'm still going. You know, I feel like I'm still learning, and I'm still I don't think that I'm there yet, you know, and I don't
what?
know that
You're not there, Jamal?
Honestly, I promise you.
Are you serious? You still feel like that?
I swear to on everything I love.
Y'all, so see, this feeling never goes away then.
No, every project I get, I'm like, can I do this? Is this something that you know? And so there's that voice in your head that's kind of like, you know, it's that imposter syndrome. Like, do you really have the skill set to be able to do this? Are you sure? You know, and so I do have that. And then I have to blank him out. And then I have to push myself forward and say, okay, look, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. And, you know, if there's anybody more qualified, you know, so I have to talk myself into that. So it still happens. Yeah, I mean, I promise you, I'm not saying it. It's still.
I actually find it so amazing. I find it so amazing. And the point of this one, the first time I thought to do this, I was late night prayer meditation vibes. And it was like, expose people to who you know, talk, and don't be selfish with who you know and share whatever.
That's amazing.
But it was so scary, just doing this.
Yes, I know.
So like.
But you're doing it. And that's the thing, is that although it's very scary and you're like, I don't know if I could do it, but now look, we're doing it. We're sitting here, we're having a good conversation that hopefully will inspire, even if it inspires one person.
Right.
You've done your job, you know? So I think that's incredible. But we can't let those voices that get in our head that tell us that we can't, or what if this happens, or what if it does happen? We'll know what to do. We'll know what to do the next step. You know, we'll be prepared. Yeah.
Do you have any, I mean, you said a couple of things there, like as far as what how you talk to talk to yourself out of that.
Yeah.
What just go into that a little bit more, elaborate. Like, so when that happens, you're like, what are the voices? So you hear the voices in your hand, you're like, yo, how do you address them? Like, what do you say again? Just, I need to hear it personally.
Yeah. Well, as soon as that voice comes in, I immediately have to push him to the back and say, look, every experience that I've experienced to this point has made me qualified to be able to step into what I'm about to do, right? So I have to trust that everything that I've learned along the way has given me the knowledge that I need to do this job that I'm about to do, whatever it is, and it's the truth, because what happens is what I learned on working on Aladdin prepared me for what I did for RuPaul's Drag Race. As much as, you would think it was the opposite or whatever. There are things that I've learned on that job that prepared me for the next job. And it keeps going. But you have to remember that you aren't just out here just doing stuff and not learning. You're learning lessons, you're learning how to work with people, you're learning different dance styles, you're learning how to hear music differently. There's all this stuff that's going on. So you have to always remember that your journey has led you to exactly where you need to be, and you have everything that you need to move forward. Now, you might learn some things, you might knock your head, and you might be, but that's good too. That's good in that. There's good in not knowing and going forward and then learning something as you go. That's great. You're progressive.
And you know what's so funny in the arts, I think it's the same as corporate, because the same thing happens in the corporate world.
That's right.
You work a job and you get promoted to this position and you don't know if you can really do that position or not. It's the same thing when it comes to like creativity or, being a unicorn. You don't know whether or not you're going to be able to take care of that job or that rent or whatever, but it always, or that mortgage or whatever, but you step into those levels, right? And then you kind of just, you feel it out and see if you can do it. I think what I'm finding so profound about this, Jamal, is that you're speaking to like so many people just in that one, like that's such a universal language.
It really is.
And I kind of feel like that's maybe kind of undersaid too. Like I think people need to kind of normalize that and tell people that that's okay. It's not unnormal. It's fine. Yeah. Honey, if Jamal can have it, you can have it, sis.
Let me tell you.
If Jamal
let me tell you, he is there,
Yeah, right.
And he lives with everybody, or he or she. Yeah. But you can't really, because if you allow the fear, because what that is fear. Allow the fear to overwhelm you or to overtake you, then you won't do anything. You'll sit there and sit in the room and not move, because fear has a way, it's so strong that it will almost paralyze you from moving forward. Like you were saying with this
this project, Black Unicorns,
project that you're working on now, you were like, can I do it? And if you keep thinking about it and thinking about, well, what if this happens or what if that, you won't do it.
You won't do it.
But you can't allow the fear to overtake it. That's what you're doing, All
right, we're gonna left turn because I could say in that world, I can like, but we will have that conversation again on another day. Because that was really, as long as I've known you in the way that I've seen you work, I'm just like, that kind of just blew my mind. I'm sure that's gonna blow a lot of people's mind. What's your favorite food? Let's just skip on.
Okay, boom.
Yeah, let's move over to like another world.
Yeah, favorite food. I love Mexican food. I'm from California, so I love tacos, burritos, But what I always thought was I love Mexican food, but then I started I experienced Brazilian food, and I realized that a lot of the Latin dishes have with the rice and the beans and the special spices. I think it's a rice and beans. It's a Latin thing,
Oh yeah.
Enjoy, you know, from Puerto Rican food to, you know, just recently that I came to. So that's my favorite.
What I know this is off topic, but like, are you mixed? Are you? Because I'm sure some of the kids might want to know how. Because you.
Yeah, no, I'm black. I'm black. I'm black. My mom's black. My dad's black. Blackity black.
What?
Yep.
But the lab flavors is popping though, for real, like that.
Absolutely.
I think in Brazil they're a little more sweeter though, aren't they? It's a little more like a little fruity vibe.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that when I there's been a couple of restaurants that I've been to, I'm like, I love this food, you know, and I think it has to do with the combination of the rice and the beans and the meats and the spices and all that stuff.
You know, I asked this question because it says a lot about a person, right? You know, the food that they eat, what they take in, you know, the sun, the beaches, the vibes, you know, it says a lot, you know, and even like just then it came out like you're from California, which I actually didn't know that. I didn't know you're from California. I had no idea. You're a California boy through and through.
All through and through. Yeah.
I get along with California folks, so that it's just natural. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, California folks, what you find is that we live here, you know, and we've lived here all our lives.
Right.
And so some of the stuff that would impress somebody that comes from an out of state that it doesn't really impress us too much because
I've seen it all. I grew up with it.
Yeah, we've been to Universal Studios where you see the front of this big, amazing house, and you turn the corner and ain't nothing behind it, you know? So, so we know what the facades look like, and so we never have to worry about putting up.
Right, it's real.
It's empty in the back. So, you know, that I think that's always my I don't know if it's an analogy, but it reminds me of just growing up in LA. It's like we see the real of what this industry is, and it's always, you know, this front of, you know, people put on this like show, but really it's empty in the back. And so we kind of are just really relaxed with this whole entertainment game, and it doesn't really faze us too much, and I think that we are cool people.
It's true.
People that are from
honestly, every person I met from LA, actually born and raised, I've always fell in love with them. Just the vibe has always been right. I'm from Indiana, so it's weird how country y'all are. Actually, it's actually weird how country.
You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
What is one piece of art, you know, or work that you've seen that you feel like I mean, you shared the Wiz, so we kind of talked about it a little bit. We kind of know that. Outside of the Wiz, is there something or an artist? It don't gotta be a piece of art. It can be an artist. It could be a song.
For sure.
It could be anything.
It was Michael Jackson's Thriller, which I still love today. It's timeless. It's, you know, Michael Peters. And Mike, what I love about Thriller is, I mean, besides the actual song is not my favorite Michael Jackson song, but the project is something that I felt took at the time was so creative and groundbreaking, because we hadn't seen a mini movie and a music video with that
was like the first one with that size budget, probably, right?
Absolutely. And so I just thought being able to take the time to create something like that had never been done before, and it still continues to people still love it today, Absolutely. And I can go back and I can watch the steps and people. So that's something that just really blew my mind, and it's a piece of art that I love.
Yeah, shame. Debbie Reynolds went down. There was
I know.
It was y'all. Just so y'all know, Debbie Reynolds is a school.
Hollywood.
It's in North Hollywood. They used to be in North Hollywood, where the actual filming of like the rehearsal process of Thriller happened. And if you haven't seen Thriller, go watch that now.
And the making.
And the making of it, if you haven't watched. And if you are really a true Black unicorn, you're going to resonate with it. But yeah, that was really bizarre when they tore that down. That was a piece of history. I couldn't believe that. Have you ever worked with Michael Jackson? Did you ever get a chance to work with him?
I did. Yeah, that was my my first music video I ever did.
Did you?
My first job was with Michael Jackson.
Your first job was with Michael Jackson.
My first job was.
I'm gonna throw this phone. Are you serious?
Yes, Remember the Time. That was my first audition.
Shut up, Jamal. Shut up. Lying to me. I didn't have to get up. Are you serious? Jamal, are you serious?
I promise. That's my first job, my first audition. Anything was Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Your first job was Remember the Time.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And then it was all downhill afterwards.
It was all over.
Yeah.
Hey, that was the littiest of all litness.
Let me tell you.
Oh my God, the Black Beauty in that video.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
That has not happened again since then.
No, I know.
Wow. I mean, there were so many legendary moments in that.
Yeah.
Jesus
No, I know. It was.
I would love to hear, when I come back to LA, I would love to have a little background talk on that. I'd love to hear about that.
I'll give it to you. I got it for you.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's wild. So that's where your career started.
That's where it started. Yeah. So
I mean, you was bound to be doing what you're doing now, Jamal. Like, that's
what's so funny is that when it starts that high, it's always kind of like, well, what do I do after this? And so I always make the joke that it's all downhill after that. But it was, Michael was somebody that inspired me to do what I do. So in order, so for me to be able to do that was amazing. Fatima Robinson was the choreographer.
Shout out to Fatima.
Yeah,
Big Mama.
Yeah, so it was, so it's just John. Dang it! John Singleton was the director.
Yeah, John Singleton. Yeah, John Singleton directed it. Oh my God, it was so much chocolate on that video.
It was incredible. And we filmed over here at Universal Studios, where my house is now. I could see the stage that we shot Remember the Time out of my back window. So it's so crazy that.
So you look back at that all the time where you started.
Yes, yeah. It's always a constant reminder of like, this is where you started and now you're here. Because I can remember pulling up to that lot and being like, wow, like this is, it's another world, so.
That is so insane. One, you can remember pulling up to that lot and you from LA. So you was having a moment inside your hometown.
Yeah.
That must have been crazy. Like your family must have been like, what is happening?
Oh, they were. Well, because I said I'm from LA, I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, which is outside of, so coming to LA did already felt like a new thing too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then to go on a set, on a studio, on a lot, even if you're from LA, to go on something like that still feels like
you was that dude.
Yeah. You feel like you were doing something,
And you can see it now.
Yeah.
So, wow, that just took me somewhere else. So you can actually say that your experience, like in your career, you've had a full circle in a way.
That's right.
And would you say, did you always know you were gonna be who you are now?
No.
You didn't know.
Well, let me say, I knew I would be something. I knew I would be doing something that I love to do. I knew that, like it wasn't a question.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was going to be though. That's what I will say that because I thought I was going to be a singer. I always wanted to sing, and that wasn't my gift, not that I couldn't do it, but it just wasn't something that came natural to me. So dancing and choreography and that all felt a little more natural. And so sometimes you have to listen to those voices if you're trying to push one way and things ain't really going, and you have to kind of listen to, hey, this is what you do. Now jump over here and see if this works. And you know what I mean? So you kind of have to try a couple things.
like the source knows where you're supposed to be at.
Yeah, so you have to listen to those voices and and it's not saying that you could never. I could land a role tomorrow where I have to sing, and I could do it. You know what I mean?
You gonna hit it.
I'll try. You know what I mean? But at least I've tried other things. So.
Wow. All right. Wow, that's so cool. I was gonna ask you like, how do you, because hearing all this, I just got all these questions now. But like, you know, how your dance influences your directing. Like, does it? Are the two working together? You know, creatively? Are you feeling like there's the dance or the choreography because you've done that? You know, does that help the directing? Do they feed each other?
Yeah. Yeah. Choreography is directed. So we should always let's remember that what we're doing as choreographers is we are directing the dance. We're directing artists and we're telling them, you know, and a lot of times we're telling them the emotion that they need to have. We're telling them the story they need to tell. We're telling a story when we choreograph a piece. A lot of us like yourself, like you think about those things when you're designing a piece, right? And so I did a film with Kenny Ortega, and he was like, the reason why choreographers make great directors is because we've always done it. We've always told stories through our dance and through movement. And a fun fact is when they started making musicals back in the day, those big MGM musicals, they would hire a director and they would hire a director of dance. And those two would collaborate to make the film. So when the dance and the musical numbers come in, the director of the choreographer would direct those sequences and tell the cameras where to be. And it went away because I think of a budget thing, right? They didn't want to hire two directors, so then this director went out and moved on forward. But yeah, it was a job back in the day. It was called director of dance.
Wow, that's where we got like the Buzzy Berkeleys and those kids.
Right. Yeah, that's guys. Why. Yeah. Because you had choreographers directing those sequences.
Jeez. Yeah. So juicy. It's so good. It's so good. It's so inspiring to hear these kind of things. It's documented history, and it's just so much coming out when I do these. This is probably more of a message to people, but like, what is freedom to Jamal? And listen, if y'all go see that Instagram page, he got freedom popping, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? You popping, but I'm saying, but
let me tell you, that is freedom. Freedom is, to me, is really being able to live your life without the worry of what other people think of you. When you can get to the point where you don't care what everybody else is thinking or what they're feeling about what, the choices you make, and you can be like, this is just me, I'm just living my life and not worried. That's the freedom, right? So that freedom will allow you to go on trips and take your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife and live your life and wear the things you want to wear and do the things you want to do without thought that anybody could, think, oh, that's terrible, or they shouldn't do that, or why are they doing it,
right.
That's freedom to me, and also freedom, and this is probably a separate thing, is being able to live in the present moment. Because you're looking back, if you're looking back on what you used to do and how you used to, or any kind of regret that happened to you, you're doing this and you're looking back and you're not moving forward. And then if you're worried about what's coming up, then you're not appreciating where you are at this moment. So it's kind of like you have to be able to live presently and appreciate it and not worry about, am I going to be able to pay my rent, in 6 months? You'll, so that's kind of like, you have to handle your business, but you also can't worry about what's ahead of you. This is living today.
When you say like being present, I feel like that's kind of like a term that people use a lot, but I know it, and I know you understand what you're saying, but how's a person stay present when they got a million bills, or what I'm saying, or like they got all these ideas going on in their head and they can't focus on one? Like how does a person stay present? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think for so long in entertainment, and as you will understand as a dancer, we are always thinking about, okay, yes, I got this job, but what am I going to do next?
Right.
And you never really sit and you look at what you're doing at the moment. And so when that passes, you're like, I don't even remember doing that. I don't remember. I don't because all you were thinking about was how am I going to do to the next thing, you know? Yeah. And so it's something that you have to practice. It's something that we have to just say, okay, well, there is going to be a next thing because there always has been a next thing. So you've always moved on, right? You've always done something else. So if, you know, whether it was a week or 2 weeks or 2 months, something else is going to come along. So let's just say that there is going to be something else. So don't worry about that. Now, let's take in the experience that you're at right now. Okay, I'm dancing with Michael Jackson. He's standing right next to me. I'm feeding off of him. You know, I'm looking over here, and this dancer is from New York. I admired this dancer, so I want to tell her that I loved her. She inspired me, and you know, you live in that moment because if you won't have that chance again. You know, that's the key. Like taking in the moment and being present, because so many times we're like on our phones and we're like, okay, calling our agent. Okay, so what's next? Okay, who's auditioning? I need to go, and then, you know, leave that alone. Like, let that be when you do get home and you figure it out the next day, and you'll worry about that. But
I always tell people that your bills will be waiting for you. Your life will be waiting for you. It'll be there it'll be there when you get back. Trust me. Take a break.
Ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere. Everything, I promise you, it will be sitting there just the way you left it. Whether you think about it when you're in the moment, in the video, or in a travel, trust me, everything will be the way you left it. You can come back and just pick it on up.
Yeah, that's right. but live there, live like appreciate it, you know?
Wrapping it up, this has been such a good interview. And Jamal, you're such an inspiration. There's so many ways that there's so much to talk about. But you know, I think your words have really already said so much. I feel like you said so much already. I'm gonna have to just go and
I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you too, brother. It's been a pleasure. I wanted to tell you, there was a time, y'all, this is real tea too. There was a time where I remember going through something in LA, and I came to one of your auditions drunk. And I wasn't, do you remember this?
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm glad you don't. I'm glad you don't.
Explain more, maybe I'll.
No, please don't. I'm glad you don't. I'm sure you've had a million auditions by now. I don't want you to remember this. And you might not have ever known, because as a unicorn is something that I'm good at, you know, going into a space and figuring it out. But this is something about this is about your character, and I want you to know this that you did give this to me. You might not even realize it. I was at the audition. I was super drunk. I was going through a breakup at the time, and you just politely said, "Eclipse, you need to get it together."
Oh,
you said it so lightly that you was like, "Eclipse, you need to get it together, and you need to go home and rest and just get it together." Like, and honestly, like, it was so polite and it was so gentle. But you ever know when your mom is talking, when your mother or like your family member says something gentle to you, you know they really they can do what they need to do, but when they get quiet or silent, it kind of like scares you into getting better. That moment scared me into getting better. It's so weird. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember walking out and going, that was Jamal. It's like, that was just, I'm like, oh man, that was too calm. That was too, you know, wasn't even, that was too calm. I just got kind of scared. I was like, it was a fear that came in. It wasn't a negative fear, because there's this thing. It was more like, you know, you had stuff to do, and you just, it was a gentle, like, hey, I'm doing my job right now, and you know, you're not at your best. So why don't you just go and come back? And I'm saying that to say that that's what attracted this interview with me with you, is because you just got a thread of that, and it comes through your work, and it comes through everything. And so I appreciate that. I just want to tell you that was such a moment for me that I never forgot.
Let me tell you, I have I have loved your energy from the day one, and I can remember one day in particular. So it's maybe not this, but one audition that I think I remember seeing Eclipse for the first time, and I remember you had on this oversized sweatsuit. It was like blue and red and gray, and you had these boots on. I remember you having these boots on.
I remember that.
And I remember it was, the combination was, I don't know what audition was, but I just remember this kid that had so much, like, you were going for it. Like, there was nothing that could not tell me that this kid was not going to make it in this industry, And there was something so special and so raw. And I think that that was what attracted me to you, was that you've always been raw. It never felt like you fit into any one box. Like you didn't, you could be over here, you could be over there, you could be in the middle, you could be up, you could be down. And I always appreciated that from you, is that, you kind of, not you do embody this idea that I don't care what people think of me. I'm going to be me regardless. And I think that that's what, when I first saw you, that's what I got from the very beginning, so I appreciate that about you. And I commend you on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. You big bro. So I take that. I honestly, I take that in. And yeah, that's special. I'm gonna take that just like I took the other thing you did. So I want to keep you for long. I know it's morning time there, but I want to leave everybody with some words from you. And I always ask people, like, what is the affirmation or a mantra? If you don't know what a mantra is, it's something that you might say to yourself. I'm talking to them, not you. I'm sure you know. But like, it's something that you might say to yourself to help you through the day.
Mine is really simple, and I believe this to the inner core of my being, and it's be kind to people, right? So, because you never know what somebody's going through, and when we're constantly surrounded by these negative things that people say through the internet, and the best thing that we can do is be kind, and whatever it is, and more importantly, we have to be kind to ourselves. So we could be really hard on ourselves. We could tear ourselves down, but to other people, we'll try and build them up, but we have to do the same thing to ourselves. So I think that is the most important thing in life. Like, whatever you're doing, just be kind, because somebody could have had we don't know what they're going through, and you're sitting here talking about and breaking them down and and being rude to them, and you don't know what they're going through at home. And so I always just try to be kind to people, whatever it is.
Be kind. Jamal, thank you so much, brother. I love you so much, man.
I love you too.
I adore you. I appreciate everything you've done for us, our community. Like, you are pushing us forward as Black men, Black them, Black theys. And you really are a pillar in our community. And like,
thank you for doing this, and thank you for taking the time to even spotlight or to bring some inspiration to the younger generation too. It's like, it's really important for us to reach back and grab them and kind of show them the path.
What is a black unicorn? Black unicorn. Black unicorn. Black unicorn. Black unicorn.